How many people will buy emeralds? How many people will buy the diamonds? Prabhupada says, only a few. And then Prabhupada quotes this verse, which I think is very well known, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, text 3. Would anyone like to say it since it's so well known? Manusyanam sahasrasu kastid yatati siddhaya yatatam api siddhanam kashtam membati tatprataha. Out of many thousands of men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. So the word is manusya. From that came the word man, manusyanam, and sahasra is 1,000. There's one prayer, Sahasra Vishnu Nama Stotra. That's right. Sahasra, 1,000 names of Vishnu. And you can chant those names if you like. 1,000 names of Vishnu. Sahasra Nama Stotra. Now, Prabhupada says a very interesting thing. Listen carefully, because I'll be asking questions. I shall actually point at various devotees, and they will have to answer the question correctly. And if they don't, they have to go outside. That includes ladies, that includes young boys, and that includes men. If just 0.01% of the world's population became Krishna conscious, the whole situation on the earth will change. 0.01%. Got it? It's locked in your mind? Then Prabhupada gives an answer. Just see what has happened. I started alone in 1966, and in just 7 years, now we have 3,000. So in 1973, Prabhupada is saying we have 3,000. And it is growing more and more. So if the intelligent men of the world, like yourself, cooperate with this all-important mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we can save the world from the state of misery and chaos that now prevails. Hope this meets you in good health. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, your ever well-wisher. So the world is in a state of misery and chaos. Everywhere there is chaos. There is turmoil. There is turmoil, chaos, and misery in South Africa. There's a very high degree of inequality. I think the most in the world. Throughout Africa, chaos, misery. There are wars going on. We call them armed conflicts. And there's something like 30 armed conflicts going on right now. The most prominent ones being, of course, Ukraine and Russia, and now recently Sudan. So chaos, misery, because people are not following a spiritual path. They're actually quite sinful. Quite sinful. Engaging in sinful acts. Srila Prabhupada has written in Canto 1, Chapter 17, we'll just take a break for a minute. So Prabhupada has written, that's right, sinful activities are responsible for all the problems in this world. So you can make a list of the problems. COVID, AIDS, tuberculosis. South Africa happens to be the leading country in tuberculosis and AIDS, has the highest AIDS rate, something like 13%, and the highest tuberculosis rate. So whatever problem is going on, suicides, murders, these conflicts of war, financial problems, it is due to sinful activities. And sinful activities would mean the eating of meat, fish, eggs, illicit sex, gambling, and intoxication. These are the primary sinful activities. So of course we avoid those. But we're still living in a country called South Africa, which is promoting these sinful activities. So it overlaps. And we also sometimes may get affected, just like our devotees in Ukraine. Many had to leave Ukraine, although they weren't sinful. They were Krishna conscious. But it overlaps. In the winter, it may be cold, and you may put on the heater, the oil heater and the fan heater, but still you have to go outside, and you feel the cold a little. So it tends to overlap. But of course, when a devotee is put into anxiety or tribulations, we should understand those tribulations are not as a result of karma. Prarabdha karma, aparabdha karma. It is Krishna's personal arrangement and is not due to karma. For instance, you may have a car accident. So the devotee, it's Krishna's arrangement. But then may go into another car, and that person may be a non-devotee. So that's the law of karma. Then you could say that's also Krishna's arrangement. So both are Krishna's arrangement, and the example Jiva Goswami gives is that in the kingdom, the king is responsible for all the citizens. So the king is responsible for all the men and the women and the animals, praja. Praja means anyone born in the kingdom. But he doesn't deal with them directly. He has his various ministers, demigods, the demigods, or he has his various designated people in charge. And this would be demigods. But the king personally deals with his own family. In the palace, the king may have the wife and the children. So he doesn't deal with them through the demigods or through his ministers. He deals with them personally. Can you see that example? So Krishna will deal with his devotees personally. And he will deal with the non-devotees, materialists, non-devotees, from a distance. But he's still the supreme controller, if you can understand that. But from a distance, he will deal with the non-devotees and through the agency of the demigods. The four most important demigods described by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Ganesh, and Vivaswan, or Surya. These are the foremost. But we know there's many demigods. And they have different departments. Like in South Africa, we have the Department of Energy. But unfortunately, he has a blackout all the time. And he doesn't know what's going on. Yeah. We have a minister of police who ends up getting arrested. So many. Yes. So, I mentioned the world, Prabhupada wrote, if a certain percentage of the world population simply becomes Krishna conscious, the whole situation on the earth will change. What percentage, Madam Mango? Huh? Point? Yes. 0.01%. Now, the population of the world is 7 billion. What is 0.01% of 7 billion? Come on. Come on. Durika. Ready. Come on. See how everyone's looking at everyone else. It's like you look at everyone else. Huh? All right, what is it? Huh? No, it's 0.01. So we want to know what is 1%. 2. So 2 back from 7 billion. Yeah. 70 million. Prabhupada is saying 70 million. And then Prabhupada gives the example. I started alone in 1966, and in 7 years we are now 3,000. And then when Srila Prabhupada left, altogether he initiated approximately 4,700 devotees. So he had approximately 4,700 disciples. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also had about the same, 5,000. So it is not that everyone will become the devotee. But even if just a small percentage, then that can change the direction of the world. But we have to just continue practicing Krishna consciousness and trying our best to preach. And Prabhupada said, I started in 1966 by myself. And then in 1973, when he wrote this letter, he said, now we are 3,000. So I think now, after 55 years, initiated devotees all over the world, maybe 100,000. So it is spreading, and this is the first time actually in the Kali Yuga that spiritual life is spreading like this. At the time of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he spread, and his main followers, Lord Nityananda, he sent Lord Nityananda and Haridas Thakur to Bengal. Then he sent Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami to Vrindavan. Then of course Lord Chaitanya himself traveled in South India. So Krishna consciousness, it was spread, not to every place, but many places, but just in India, only in India. And then it's described, the next three that came, Srinivasacharya, Narottam Thakur, and Shyamananda Pandit. Shyamananda Pandit spread Krishna consciousness in Orissa. That's Odisha, where the Jagannath Puri temple is. And Narottam Thakur was famous for going to Manipur. It's very difficult for people to go to Manipur. They're very strict on who they allow in Manipur, especially Europeans. And so therefore in Manipur they predominantly kept their culture, Manipur. And then there was a slight dip. There was a dip in Krishna consciousness or spiritual life. And this is compared to the moon being covered with some clouds. But then the appearance of Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, again, it became invigorated, again started to spread. Baladev Vidyabhusana. And then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. But at the time of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Vaishnavism in India, it wasn't given much respect because there were so many Sahajiyas. And there were Sahajiya groups. And some of them were really way out. For instance, Sakhi Beka, men would dress as women with saris, and then pretend that they were gopis, and even dance in a gopi type way. And this you may even see nowadays if you go to Srila Haridas Thakur's Samadhi in Jagannath Puri. I don't know if any of you have. That is controlled by the, well, I guess, Sakhi Bekas. And they chant Nitai Gaur Radhe Shyam Hare Krishna Hare Ram. And you hear them. And they chant 24 hours a day, but not the Maha Mantra. But there's still benefit because they're saying the names of God. But it's controlled by this Sahajiya group. And I went one time, or I saw in a video, I can't remember, and at the 7 o'clock arti or 6:30, the one man comes out, sometimes dressed as gopis, sometimes not. They twirl around like gopis, but it's really overdone. And then they faint, but they don't really faint. You know, it's pretend faint. And then another man catches that man. It's all planned. So he like catches him. So it's swooning, it's ecstasy. But it's not our Vaishnava tradition. But these are some of the things they do. There's one Sahajiya group called Kali Chandi. And they offer fish to Lord Chaitanya. Sardines, I don't know what other fish. Something fishy, they go there and buy it. And if you ask them, well, why are you doing this? Isn't it in the Bhagavad Gita, offer me fruit, flower and leaf, patram puspam? And they'll say, well, we can't control our tongues. We just cannot give up fish. Because the diet, Prabhupada said in Bengal, is 99% Bengalis eat fish and rice. So we can't give up fish. And Lord Chaitanya is extremely merciful. So why should he not accept fish? He's very merciful. So this is their logic. So there are many Sahajiya groups. Attavadi. You know what is Attavadi? It's another Sahajiya group. And the Attavadi, it means one who has surpassed his guru. One who's become even more important than his own guru. And there was an Attavadi at the time of Lord Chaitanya, and his name was Jagannath. And he went to Lord Chaitanya, and he told Lord Chaitanya, I have come from I am an incarnation of the smile of Radharani. It's a little much. I am an incarnation of the smile of Radharani, and I've added to the Srimad Bhagavatam some verses which I've written myself. And my followers have seen me with 8 arms. Now, Lord Chaitanya, he showed his form with 6 arms, and it's called Sadbhuj. The top 2 arms, Ramchandra. The middle 2 arms, Krishna. And the bottom 2 arms, golden, Lord Chaitanya. And then they're carrying the different items. Like Krishna is carrying the flute. Ramchandra is the bow and arrow, the bow and then the arrow. That's right. Lord Chaitanya, the sannyas stick and the pot that he carries for drinking water. So this is called Sadbhuj. And this is a form that Lord Chaitanya showed Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So this character, called Jagannath, he said, well, I've shown 8 arms, just to outdo Lord Chaitanya. So he started a sect called the Attavadis, which is quite popular in Orissa. But it's popular amongst the more less intelligent Attavadis. And then Saki Bakers, Gauranga Nagaris. Gauranga Nagaris, that's another Sahajiya sect. So at the time of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Vaishnavism had become disrespected. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur had to re-establish the credibility of Vaishnavism. So this is one reason why he retained his job as a magistrate. Because in the British government they were controlling, the magistrate was almost like a king, big time. So he was a very recognized magistrate, and people gave him respect. But at the same time, he was a Vaishnava. So obviously they think, now what is this respectable judge or magistrate doing practicing Vaishnavism? Because Vaishnavism has become so low class. So then, again, it re-established people's faith. The whole point was to re-establish people's faith. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur did that. And of course, he discovered the place of Lord Chaitanya's appearance, called Yogapith. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was more a peaceful reformer. He was more on the peaceful side. And then he prayed that someone could come and help preach to continue. And we understand Srila Bhaktisiddhanta appeared. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta was different. He was like the evangelist. He was like a lightning bolt. He was very strong. And he would cut the Mayavadi philosophies to pieces. He would challenge people. He would challenge. In 1900, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta went with Bhaktivinoda Thakur to Jagannath Puri. So I mentioned that this Saki Baker group, they were controlling things in Jagannath Puri. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he didn't speak out too much against them. But Bhaktisiddhanta spoke out against them so strongly that it caused social tension. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur had to ask Bhaktisiddhanta to leave because he was preaching so strongly against Sakhi Beka, this Radharaman Charan Das Babaji Maharaj and his disciple and so forth. So Bhaktisiddhanta actually had to leave. Yeah. In other words, he was preaching too strongly. But that was his nature. And one of his techniques was called the chopping technique, where he'd get the philosophy or the person and chop them to pieces. It's called the chopping technique. So it would seem that Srila Prabhupada also took on that mood, especially when he went to the West, and especially in reference to the atheists, the evolutionists, and the Darwinists. Would you agree? The followers of Darwin. He took every opportunity to kick in their face, and even, I will urinate in their face. Now that's quite unusual for a sadhu to say that. But these are the types of things Prabhupada said. I will urinate in their face. And then he referred to various religious leaders in India who were Mayavadis, and he said they should be hung. He said, if I was in charge, I would hang them. I would hang them. So Prabhupada wasn't afraid to speak the truth. And he did it in a very uncompromising way. Of course, we don't necessarily have to follow in his footsteps. It may not be our nature to be confrontational. But that was Prabhupada's particular nature. But we should try to preach as best we can. That's the important message. We should try to preach by Food for Life or Kirtan or deity worship or give seminars, or especially chanting the Lord's holy name and prasad. These are the two main. Chanting Krishna's holy name, and that's Kirtan, Sankirtan. Sankirtan means with two or more people. Two or more people, Sankirtan. Japa or Kirtan means by yourself, or it can mean by yourself. Japa is when you're on the beads, but you say out loud. Upamsik means you're whispering, like you whisper the holy name. And manasik, mana, mind, means the lips are not moving and the tongue is not moving. Sometimes they put the tongue on the top of their, whatever it's called up here. What's it called? Palate, yeah. And it's just in the mind. Manasik, manasik. So any of those is good. You're chanting the Lord's holy name, that's wonderful. But when you do Sankirtan, other living entities can hear. The birds, the trees, the grass, other human beings. Therefore Sankirtan is superior. So we do this, following in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya. We try to dovetail our propensity in Krishna consciousness and never lose sight of the goal. So in conclusion, what is the goal? And I would like to ask the ladies first. What is the goal? What is the goal in spiritual life or Krishna consciousness? Huh? Huh? What is the goal? Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. That's good, and that's there in Shastra. But there's something more than that. I'll tell you the Sanskrit. Prema Mahata Mahan. This is the goal of Krishna consciousness. Prema Mahata Mahan. Love of God. Love of Krishna. Love of Nrsimhadev. Love of Ram. Love of Narayan. The Lord has many expansions. Prema Mahata Mahan. And Srila Prabhupada has written in his commentary to the song Nitai Padakamalam that he writes, the aim of this Krishna consciousness movement is to enable us to approach Lord Krishna and associate with Radha and Krishna in their supreme pleasure dance. What is the supreme pleasure dance? Rasa Leela. So Prabhupada said that. You can see in the songbook, Nitai Pada Kamala, and in the commentary, purport, the aim of this Krishna consciousness movement is to enable us to approach Lord Krishna and associate, to enable us to approach the Lord and associate with Radha and Krishna in their supreme pleasure dance. Now that's a very high goal. Actually, that is the highest goal, and you can't actually go beyond that. And there's many steps between where we are and that entering into Rasa Leela. There's many steps. But at least we're on the right path. You are all on the right path, and you just continue with enthusiasm. And even when there are setbacks or tribulations, or health issues or financial problems, just continue. Just continue. And like the weather changes, so also sometimes good health, no headache, sometimes bad health, backache, sometimes you win the lotto number, like this one man, he won $2 billion. $2 billion. $1 billion was taken away immediately by tax and this and that. So he came out, this was this year in America, he came out with $1 billion. And his ticket was $3. And he came out with $1 billion. So sometimes $1 billion will come to you. And sometimes you have to go and beg money, no money at all. And sometimes your family members will smile at you and be very nice. And other times you open the door and your mother-in-law is there. So we just tolerate and continue. But it will never be plain sailing. Don't think it's going to be plain sailing. There'll always be some waves. And those waves may knock us about a little bit. So thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jagannath, Subhadra, Balaram ki jai. Gau Premanandi. So please ask some questions. Ladies, what was the percentage? No, you know, I know, because you're smart. You're too smart. Someone else. Huh? No, you have to say, you have to pull the mask down. Just, now pretend you're speaking to your husband. Loud. Nice and loud. Yeah, you got it right. And then Prabhupada said he started in 1966, one person, and then in 1973, how many? 3,000, yeah. So it expanded. And those 3,000, they were very sincere. Many of them, like Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj, they were Kadambaka Maharaj. They were in their 19 or 20 years old, or 21 or 22. 23, when I joined, 23 was like old. 26, 27 was like you're over the hill. That's just too old. And very sincere devotees. Some left. What Maya is very strong, but they made advancement. And they helped Prabhupada at a very critical time. Now to help someone when they... Jagannath, Subhadra, Balaram ki jai. If you're in the desert and you're dying of thirst, and I give you some water, is it appreciated? All right. But if I give you some water now, and you're not thirsty, is it appreciated? No, not really. So when you need it, it's appreciated. So Prabhupada needed help. And Lord Chaitanya sent these Vaishnavas, these people, his disciples, to help him at a very critical time. And Krishna consciousness expanded. Later, some of those devotees left or died or whatever. But still you can't negate the fact that they helped Prabhupada at a very critical time. So we must always appreciate these Vaishnavas that helped Prabhupada in the early days, and even now have the missionary spirit to go to difficult countries. Should appreciate them. So you like to ask anything? Nothing to ask? Two? Oh, he won, yes, this man, Lotto. I'll tell you his name. A Latino. And he put, it was either $2 or $3. And it was $2 billion on the jackpot. And $1 billion was taken because he took it lump sum and also tax. So he came out with $1 billion. The numbers came out. So what does that mean? Tomorrow we're all going to go to the lotto office, put down our money. My dear Lord Jagannath, I promise you, I'll give you a half. I'll give you a story of this one man, and he goes to the deity of Durga, Kali Durga. And he's crying and he's weeping, and he's saying, my dear Durga, just I'm going to put my money on the horses. And, the July handicap is coming up. Just remember that, all of you. July handicap. I'm going to put my money on all my money. I'm going to take the money from my wife. I know where she hides it. I'm going to take all her gold. I'm going to take everything. I'm going to put it all on this one horse. And Durga, give me your mercy. Let me win. So he puts this. He goes to Phoenix Tote Office, which I'm sure you know where it is. And he puts all his money, and then July handicap, and Then his horse, it races, and he's there. Come on, come on, come on. You know how they are. Come on, come on, come on, come on. They go a little berserk. And the horse comes in. The horse comes second. The horse comes second. So he wins, but not so much. He wins less. And then he goes back to the temple, you know, the one there in Phoenix. And then he goes in front of the deity Kali, Durga, and he says, very clever, you've already taken your half. You've already taken your half. I won't have to give you anything. He promised to give half to Durga. But he said, very clever, you've taken your half. I don't have to give you anything. It's one of the stories Prabhupada gives. No, I was waiting for you to ask. The name of the horse was Dead Donkey. That's right. But I've also read that, or seen surveys, that these people that win a lot of money, in the end they become very unhappy. This is from a material point of view. And the one reason is that their friends and family members desert them and treat them with disrespect and envy. Because they're envious. They think, well, he won it or she won it. So why can't they give some more to me or something to me? And their relationships with their family members and friends changes. And for materialists, they like these relationships. So they become despondent, they become mentally disturbed, and oftentimes. So often they will not reveal their names. But in some states, you have to. You have to reveal your name. This is in America. So you can go and put your money, just don't reveal your name, and give it all to NJP and the Guru. All right, so who's going to lead a kirtan? Please, for a few minutes. Chant Krishna's name. It's a few minutes. We start and end with kirtan.
Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Prabhupada ki jai. Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
We have do we have an MC? I think he's gone to India. This Friday and Saturday, you want to?
Can't hear me? Oh. So, if you haven't heard about it, okay, let's get a show of hands. How many devotees haven't heard about this 10 campaign? Okay, so everybody's heard about it. But Friday, Maharaj is going to be present on Friday, and there will be a play. The first play on Friday is The Boatman. The second play on Saturday would be a pastime of Lord Nrsingadev. So please try and make your time to attend this festival. Yes, Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj will be there. Maharaj, you on Friday, Saturday would be Bhakti Chaitanya Puri. I think on Friday the Harinam team will be meeting at 4 o'clock, Madhumangal Prabhu. I saw some adverts about that. Saturday at 4 o'clock. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Vegetables. Thank you. Grown by you. Are you still working?
Sort of, yeah. They're trying to get us out, but I'm waiting for not enough.
They're paying.
Yeah, you can pay. Between Cape Town and Durban, always find some angle, you know, not take you to the point where you retire or resign. No contact, quite a while. I've been sending her. She's fine, but she's not communicating.
Quite a while.
No, about a month. Yeah.
But you're still giving.
Nam Nam Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare